Hi and welcome to the Naval Tick Tinkerer. So today just want to talk about one thing, and that is my little New Year's promise. It's not one of those New Year's promises where you promise something on New Year that you're gonna do the next year. This is the promise to myself. If I haven't done this by New Year, I'll get rid of it. So let's take a look at what this is.
So, here you see it. Pretty darn neat, isn't it? But what is it? Well, it's an original 30-20, so 30 on the gantry x-axis, and 20 it was before. So 20 is like from here to maybe somewhere there. So that was the area that I could cut. It was really, really small, it was really loud, it was really, really wobbly, and I just got really, really interested during the summer, during my vacation, to try and see, can I upgrade this and make it something great? So my New Year's promise here was that if I haven't completed this by New Year, I will get rid of it. Actually, it was kind of the plan from the beginning, but I wanted to complete it and then sell it. But yeah, that isn't going to happen. So I gave myself a timeline that, if I haven't completed this on New Year, I'll see if somebody else is interested to complete it. But before we do that and get into a discussion of who might be interested in this, I just want to show you the things I have done. So the original one had a moving table design where the table moves and the router here, it was a 500 watt spindle before, underpowered, I would say. What we had is 20 in that direction, and that created a really small area, but also the bed was kind of wonky. The original design, I would recommend you never to get one. Maybe get it first just to understand the weaknesses of these. They're kind of cheap. This one's not the cheaper model because this had already the linear rail here, for example, but it did not have linear rail in that direction. So yeah, it was kind of a practice project for me to see how far I could get along in programming these controllers and switching things out and playing around in CAD to see if I could get a design that works. And I think I've gone really, really far, but I've given myself the timeline. I have other projects that I'm doing, and I'm basically looking for somebody else to take this over and give me an offer and see, maybe you want this one. So what do we have? As you can see, this no longer has 20 centimeters. It has actually 50. I think you actually can get like 40, 45 in practice. And maybe 28 because it's actually never really been 30 here. But the size is still quite big compared to before. And let's see what I've done. So one of the biggest modifications of this was to make it moving gantry. And what do I mean with that? Well, before the table was moving, now the whole gantry is moving. And I have added one motor there. Since I'm still been working, I've actually taken it off. But yeah, you can imagine one motor there. So now we have two motors bringing this gantry back and forth. So the table is flat, still doesn't move, and it should be really, really stable when I think the person taking over just cuts a piece off, so this can be leveled and then screwed from the under. Then a lot of things are weak here. From the original design, it had like really, really flimsy, like these 2040s, I think they are. Yeah, 2040s. But they were here in the Y direction, and I took this beefy 4040 that has thick aluminium, and then I put an HGR 15 linear rail, and they're actually kind of expensive to buy. And as you can see, I have dual here for the HGR that moves back and forth here, and so you actually get 4. And yeah, that's a major rigidity improver, since you have this really, really thick, and then you have steel, and then you have these, and then you have these bolted on with 8 of these against that. I also have the end stops integrated into it, so I don't have one here and one over there. I just let it move on each side here, and yeah, I think that's a pretty neat design actually. So that's the bed. We have the aluminium bed here instead that you can actually have slotted aluminium here. As you know, if you're into this, these are not cheap things. They're kind of expensive. That's why I just don't want it to kind of rot here, and I'd rather find a better home for this, somebody that wants to take this home and do something real with it. What do we have more? Well, this motor was actually one of those motors, but this one is about 50% stronger. You can see it's still NEMA 17, but it's 63 millimeter instead of 40. So yeah, it's quite a big bump up in power. Same here. This one was not to a linear rail. I have created a new mount that I 3D printed in solid ABS to give it as little flex as possible and to try to minimize the distance from here to here, because that creates a moment arm. And then we have linear rails here now. That was not an original. We have, ball screws here, which is actually really exclusive for a machine like this. Yeah, I mean, you can compare that to these, which are the cheaper versions, but we have two. So yeah, that's what I could do in this one. What do we have more? Yeah, we have this one. So there's an upgrade to a real palm router, and it's adjustable speed, as you can see here. So that's going to be much more powerful. I think this one is 800 or 700. I don't think it was kilowatt, but I think this is definitely enough to, start cutting aluminium, so to say. Yeah, ball bearings here to make it stabilized. Yeah, I think there's still some wonkiness when it came to like when I stopped this like two months ago, when I started looking into my other projects. It's I think the issue was getting these motors and the controller working together. I just didn't have time to problem solve that and really get it done, and then it got stuck here, and now it's just irritating me that it's really sitting here providing no value, neither for me or for anybody else. And it just takes space. I need this space. I have a new 3D printer I really want to put here. That one, my big old cheaty, X-Max 3, that gave up after like 3,000 hours, and now I have a new cheaty. I love this brand. It has printed almost 3,000 hours, but finally it just gave up, and I do not want to fix it. So that one is out, and new project in here with a new printer. My printer used to sit here and not down here. So what am I looking for? Well, I'm asking, is anybody interested to take this little piece and actually complete it? What I will give you is an MKS board instead of the original. You can get the original too if you want to. You can also get the original spindle 500 watt, but I mean, why would you? This one is so much better. There's a reason I invested in this, and that is to have something much better, right? And also, you can actually also take this off and actually use it as a hand router when you're not using it as a kind of a spindle or router for the CNC. And of course you could take a laser here. I actually have a laser, but I'm not giving that away. I want to keep it for my next CNC project. And yeah, so I'm wondering, is there anyone out there who is interested in giving me, I don't know, give me an offer. What do you think it's worth? I'm in Sweden, Gothenburg, so if you're interested, let me know. This has been a fun hobby project. I think I've done a lot of good things to increase the rigidity. I also have ideas how to do that even more. For example, one of the typical things is that you get flex in this direction, and these are still not that thick. I think it's 8 millimeter aluminium. That could be improved. I mean, there's endless of possibilities when you just want to make it bigger. But what you will get is that you will get a lot of quality parts, like these HDR linear rails, much more solid aluminium, thick as hell. I mean, ball screws on these cheap models are basically unheard of. And yeah, you get linear rails in every direction. Here on the X, here on the Z, here double on each side on the Y, and these are 45, 50 something, I think. But you then lose the decimeter here. So I think that practical will be like 28 times, I don't know, 40-ish travel. So, but that's pretty big for something, I mean, as a starter CNC. That's for somebody who wants to do wood projects, or even I wanted to make it as strong to do aluminium. That's why I've worked so intensely on the rigidity of the project. Yeah, give me an offer if this sounds interesting for you. You might want to get into the hobby and want to learn. This is it. You can get started. And I hope that this would find another home where this can actually start working and doing parts for your projects instead of me just having it standing here. So that was me trying to get real on my New Year's project or New Year's promise. I will not keep this if I haven't done it, if I mean, when I get to New Year. And today is New Year's Eve, so let me know.